Hey there. Coding projects are the fastest and easiest way to get better at programming. Whether you're a beginner or you're an expert, you're always going to be learning something as you do your coding projects. And that's because they push you beyond your limits, and then you gain new skills that you can use for your next project. Watching coding tutorials and coding videos like this one are great, but you're really not going to learn how to code unless you actually do some coding. And that's what coding projects do. They give you some hands-on learning experience. And this hands-on learning experience is so key because it's kind of like learning how to play an instrument or ride a bike or learn how to swim. You can read all about it, but you're not really going to learn until you actually start practicing it. And coding projects are really fun. I remember the first time I learned how to code, it was on a TI-83. And that's because instead of buying a TI-83 Plus like my friends, my mom bought me a TI-83. And my friends had games on their calculators, but I didn't have any games. So what I had to do was I had to program my own games. Lastly, coding projects are really key because they help you build your portfolio. When you start applying for internships and jobs, you need that portfolio so that they can ask you questions about your coding experience. So which programming projects would I recommend for beginners? I'm going to give you 3, but then I'll give you a bonus one at the end, so stay tuned. Alright, the first one is a tip calculator, and I think this one is really good because it's practical. When you go to a restaurant, and then you see the bill, I would like to have a tip calculator where I just put in that number, and then it'll give me the tip, and then it'll give me the total. And of course you can just do this in your calculator, but why not? Why do all that hassle when you have an app that can do it for you? So how does the tip calculator app help you get better at programming? First, it teaches you how to handle user input. And that's one of the first things you should learn as a programmer, how to handle user input and then validate it. Second, it helps you understand variable types and how different arithmetic operations work in your programming language. Obviously, you can code this program in your computer as a console app, and that's probably the first thing you should do if you have zero experience. But bonus points if you can get it working on your phone, because you're going to go to a restaurant and you're going to want to use that program that you built. Of course, why would you not want to benefit from your hard work? So get it working on your phone, maybe through a browser or some type of mobile app. Alright, second coding project I'd recommend for beginners is a to-do list app. And in this app, you would be able to create tasks. You can manage your tasks into different categories, and then you can modify the tasks, and then you can delete the tasks, and then you can mark them as completed. And the reason why I recommend this type of project for you is because it kind of introduces you to object-oriented programming. And if you don't know what that is, it's just a way of thinking about your code in terms of objects. And in the to-do list app, each task is like an object, and each object has its own status. And object-oriented programming is probably the most popular way of thinking about code, and I've seen it so many times at my jobs. Alright, the third coding project I'd recommend is a tic-tac-toe game, and that's probably the easiest programming game that you can code as a beginner. And in this game, I'd have you code 2 different modes, one for multiplayer, where you play against another human, and then second mode is when you play against a computer. And then you can make that computer easy or hard. And in the hard one, I would make it so that that computer would never lose, because tic-tac-toe is a solved game, right? So I would just make it impossible to win against that computer. And why do I recommend this coding project? I recommend it because it's a game, and I think games are one of the funnest things you can program, especially if you're a beginner. Alright, so those are the 3 coding projects I'd recommend if you're an absolute beginner at programming. The first one is the tip calculator, second is the to-do list app, and then third is the tic-tac-toe game. And then I mentioned at the beginning of this video a bonus, and that bonus is my personalized finance app. And this is a finance app. It's a budget app basically. And in this app, you take your credit card transactions and then you categorize them into different budget categories so you know how much you're spending. And I teach you how to do this in my personalized finance app programming guide. And you can download it in the link in the description. And if you download it and pay attention to what it says, you'll definitely learn some fundamental programming concepts. And then this app is actually a little bit harder than the first 3 that I mentioned. So you can try the first 3 at first, and then you can start doing the personalized finance app. And that's why I called it personalized finance app, is because you can make this app and you can have it do your budget and you can really personalize it. Alright, thanks for watching this video, and I hope it was really helpful for you, and I hope it gets you start building your own coding projects. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.